Hello, everyone. My name is Jeremy Cohen. I'm the Director of Real Estate Partnerships here at Switch, and thanks for joining me today. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to start out just on a macro level. If you're new to the EV charger industry, there's three types of chargers, and I'm going to take you through each one of them. The first is your level 1 charger. This is really for single family homes. If you have a personal garage, your own electricity and outlet, we're not really going to be talking much about this one today in particular. What we will be talking about, though, is the level 2. Perfect for the multifamily environment. These chargers are a great fit for indoor garages, outdoor parking lot, really where residents and tenants are going to be dwelling for long periods of time. We'll jump into this a little bit more in a bit. The third is the level 3, or the DCFC, as it's called. These are really for more public and commercial applications along major US highways, really quick charge times of anywhere between 20 minutes to an hour. Also really not what we're going to be talking about today. So let's take you through the actual EV charging system as a whole, if you're fairly new. First, your electrical. Here you see an electrical panel. This is where the electricity is going to be pulled from to energize the chargers. Second is the actual charger itself. Here's just a perfect example of an indoor charger in an indoor garage in a multifamily building. 3 is the networking hardware, the networking component. This really allows it to become a smart charger. So that way it could be on the Wi-Fi, the internet, and it could be grasped using the overhead system above. And lastly is the software. The software gives you real-time insights as to what's going on with the chargers, maybe where the chargers are located, at what building or asset, giving the owners and operators just real-time insight into their EV charging assets. So a little bit about Switch. We have over 10,000 chargers on the Switch network with a remarkable uptime of 99.7%. And just below, just a few of the incredible owners and operators across North America that trust us to manage this incredible amenity. So a lot of times we get asked, what does it look like if we want to see what EV charging is from soup to nuts? How do we go about it? What is the process like? So let's walk you through it. Design. We'll help you determine the appropriate sizing, layout, hardware options that are available to you for your specific needs. Second, you can quote. As easy as us quoting the hardware options, the software options, looking into different financing options and available incentives and rebates that are available for your specific state, province. Installation. We'll work with either your electrical contractor or ours just to make sure everything is installed and deployed correctly. And lastly, and most importantly, we want to manage these chargers. We want these chargers to be managed 24/7, 365 with technical support, administrative support. So that way you have energy management and everything that you need to make sure that these things are up and running at all times. So here are just some questions that we hear typically, from owners and operators that I'm going to help answer. So here's one. Our buildings weren't built to handle the electricity from EV chargers, and we can't spend hundreds and thousands of dollars on new infrastructure. We completely hear you. So meet Switch Control. It's our smart energy management load device hardware. Basically, what we would do here is I'm going to walk you through a little bit of a video. So perfect snapshot as to what's going on at the building level. So here you can see a residential building, and here's the electrical flow, the lighting and the HVAC between the hours of 5 to 8 p.m. People start coming home, they start turning on the lights, the HVAC, naturally energy starts to increase. Well, now you're going to add EV chargers into the mix. And in a current electrical panel or in a standard residential building, there's only X amount of chargers that can really be deployed in these buildings due to current electrical constraints. Well, enter Switch Control. Switch Control allows us to monitor that energy and basically distribute it out over the course of the evening. So when you're sleeping from, let's say, 10 p.m. all the way to 6 a.m., as noted above, We're able to disperse that energy and make sure that the chargers are always charging through the course of the evening. So when you wake up, you have a full charge. Not to mention, switch control allows you to deploy up to 10 times the amount of EV chargers, something that owners and operators really enjoy. More questions I get asked. There's lots of EV charger brands, and how do we know that yours works well? Well, Switch is very fortunate. We are hardware agnostic. We partner with a multitude of different hardware providers. Here are just a few, whether it be in the level 2 or in the DCF arena, where basically we've tried and true tested all of these devices to ensure they work properly on the Switch network. More questions. We'll want EV drivers to pay to charge, but we're not interested in dealing with the payment processing. Completely hear you. The beautiful thing about Switch is whenever a driver comes up to the device and goes to use the charge, Switch basically collects all of the revenue from the chargers and remits it back to ownership. So since Switch is an app and a software company, here's a beautiful picture displaying what the user would see when using the Switch app. Simply download the app, create your profile, plug in your EV, and use your digital wallet. We also offer complimentary RFID cards where you could simply tap the device to initiate the charge. Also, we have a QR code. If you're just a one-time user, just go up to the device and scan. It'll bring you right to our website. More questions. We've got tenants and guests and maybe offer EV charging to the public. How do we manage those chargers? Well, enter the Switch operating system. It's our cloud-based EV charging platform to make it very easy for owners and operators. You can have your access control. Do you want it to be public, private, shared, a mix? You could choose the various charging rate structures. Maybe you want to enforce loitering. But most importantly, you're getting that real-time charging insights and all of that reporting that goes into it. And so with that, I just kind of want to take you through a little bit of what the actual dashboard looks like. So when you enter the Switch dashboard, here you would see all of the insights into this perfect example of what we'd actually be looking at. So you look at the active users, you could see who's connected and plugged in. How about the availability of the chargers? If you start to scroll down a little bit, you get a little bit more of an operational view. You could see all the different revenue that's being generated. This is just a snapshot, for instance, of 1 week interval. But why don't we change that to a year's worth of charging transactions revenue? You'll significantly see the price go up and all the revenue that's being made from the chargers. You can also see the amount of transactions over the course of the year, the energy that's being used, and also all of your GHG savings. On the left-hand side, if you want to get a little more micro with some of this data, you could see the different chargers, the transactions, the listings, and the reports. I'll just click into the reports tab where you could see all your financial summary. Maybe you need to report some of this usage back to utilities. You can download all this as PDF or Excel, however you would like to report on that. And lastly, just going back, we hear this all the time with the different incentives that are available. So there are plenty, and we are more than happy to look into it for you depending on your state and your province. In some multifamily cases, there are various states and utilities that offer 25 to 90% in rebates, very generous. And there's also the 30C tax credit, which is up to $100,000, also available in various regions and all states. With that said, happy to answer any questions that anyone might have.